The United Nations Climate Change Conferences, also known as the Conference of the Parties COPs, are yearly meetings where world leaders convene to address the global issue of climate change. These conferences, which began in 1995, serve as the formal negotiation platform for the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Over the decades, these conferences have played a crucial role in shaping international climate policy and driving global action to mitigate the devastating effects of climate change. Two landmark agreements have emerged from these climate conferences: the Kyoto Protocol, adopted in 1997, and the Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015. The Kyoto Protocol established legally binding emissions reduction targets for industrialized countries, while the Paris Agreement set a goal of limiting global temperature rise to well below 2 degrees C above pre-industrial levels, with efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees C. These agreements have been the focus of intense negotiations as countries strive to find common ground and commit to concrete actions. The primary goal of the climate conferences is to bring together nations from around the world to assess progress, negotiate new policies, and coordinate efforts to address the global climate crisis. Key issues discussed at these conferences include emissions reduction targets, climate finance, technology transfer, and support for developing countries. The conferences also provide a platform for civil society, businesses, and other stakeholders to voice their concerns and push for more ambitious climate action. Over the years, the climate conferences have yielded significant outcomes, such as the establishment of the Green Climate Fund to support developing countries, the creation of mechanisms for international emissions trading, and the recognition of the importance of forests and land use in climate change mitigation. However, the conferences have also faced criticism for the slow pace of progress and the inability to reach consensus on certain contentious issues. Controversies and challenges have often plagued the climate conferences, with debates around burden sharing, the role of fossil fuels, and the need for financial support for developing nations. The withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Agreement during the Trump administration, as well as the ongoing negotiations around the final details of the Paris Rulebook, have further complicated the process. The impact of climate change is being felt worldwide, with rising sea levels, more frequent and intense natural disasters, droughts, and heat waves affecting millions of people, particularly in the global south. These impacts disproportionately affect vulnerable communities, underscoring the need for urgent and equitable climate action. In recent years, the climate conferences have also witnessed a surge in youth-led climate activism, with movements like Fridays for Future and Extinction Rebellion pushing for more ambitious climate policies. This has put increasing pressure on world leaders to take decisive action and respond to the growing public demand for change. Developing countries have played a crucial role in the climate conferences, advocating for greater support and resources to address the impacts of climate change, which they have contributed to the least. Their participation and demands for climate justice have been instrumental in shaping the discussions and outcomes of the conferences. As the world looks ahead to future climate conferences, the need for global cooperation and collective action has never been more urgent. Upcoming COPs, such as COP28 in 2023 and COP29 in 2024, will be pivotal in determining the trajectory of international climate policy and the world's ability to meet the ambitious goals set forth in the Paris Agreement. Addressing the climate crisis requires a global effort that transcends national boundaries and political divides. The United Nations Climate Change Conferences provide a crucial platform for countries to come together, negotiate, and take the necessary steps to protect our planet and ensure a sustainable future for all.